you filthy apes. Who are we kidding? You guys aren't getting no peace, man. Let's be honest. You crypto incels with your sweaty guts hanging out, clicking all day. Let's be honest, man. No hump day for you. This video is going to be about how I anticipate price action to get to an area of interest or a point of interest. So we're going to use the example of ARKM. This is a coin that, for whatever reason, I just seem to connect with the moves in either direction. For whatever reason, if I look at my win rate with ARKM, it's pretty much 100%. There was one break even, I believe, but I've caught the extremes of the move from, short from the high, long from the low, and then every intraday move I've taken has, for whatever reason, worked out well with this coin. So I'll take you through my thought process. We're going to start on the weekly. There was an obvious consolidation down here, massive expansion, and now we're drawing into discount within the weekly range. So what I see in the weekly is there was one final weekly inefficiency over here. There was 3 total, just because that monthly candle was wild, but we've drawn into the deepest one right here in discount, and we've tagged the midpoint and had a very good reaction coming out of there. Let's see what percentage. 128%. So that was a crazy move. What this coin does, it tends to have wild impulses and then big drawdowns into discounts. So it's a very volatile coin. You could catch, if you catch the extreme of the move in either direction, usually you get a nice payout. But for this one, we tagged the weekly, so now we're targeting the external high, which you could consider it this, but the most obvious or most logical draw in the first external liquidity point would be these equal highs. So I'm using that one as the bias for the weekly. The daily, as of now, we've had a shift above this high, this one, and now we have equal highs in the range. So if you fib from here to here, your OTE fib is basically going to land in this node where you could see there's obvious buyer intent. So this is your daily. So using this as a dealing range high to low, we drew into deep premium and rejected. But going into this leg over here, we have a raid of the internal range. So this in theory should be a protected low, but again, it's a shitcoin like every other shitcoin. There are no rules. There's just price action. So you have a raid, you have a shift above here, and if you fib out from there to there, this is going to be your OTE range that we looked at on the weekly. Also, you have a dealing range printing from this swing low into this swing high. So we're drawing into the equilibrium here. There was a bit of a bounce. I would like to see price go deeper into discount for that long. There is a 12-hour order block right here. So if you just pop in the 12, you could see a very obvious order block with displacement that shifted the highs. I just leave it on the chart. It's not my target. My actual target is going to be lower. It's going to be into this 3-day order block. So right here you have your 3-day that led to basically 1, 2, 3, 4 straight green candles that shifted structure. So that 3-day is in deep discount. This would be more of an area of interest. It also happens to be aligned with my OTE fib. And if you look at my core assets here, we'll just zoom out for a minute. The composite volume profile is very clean. You have a massive node down here, or distribution down here, and then you have a big node right here. And we're currently below the composite value area high. So the expectation is we're going to pull back a bit more. We have a cluster here, right at this volume node. So if we go back into the daily, you could see how it kind of lines up here with my 3-day order block that I'm anticipating as an area of interest. So now we're building the case based on demand, which is your order block, volume, which should support demand, that would make it dynamic support, in discount. So this area seems like a good area to be hunting along if we get the pullback. Next, on the daily, some of you know I trade harmonics. I look for what the wave structure is and what the potential scenario could be printing over here. You have a low. This is your swing low, swing high. So if we get a pullback into this 12-hour demand, I would expect in the beginning for this to hold and then do a pullback up. And you can see I marked out, this is technically a 4-hour or 12-hour harmonic, but there's a structural level here that was being held for that final high. And then there was pretty strong displacement below it. And we haven't even tested it yet, but we've created some liquidity in the range. So this would be an area where within this stealing range from A to B, that would be the midpoint. So this is where you'd expect sell pressure to come in at structure. So you can see how I'm building a case for where I believe price is going to go based on liquidity, demand, and supply, plus your harmonic wave structures and dealing range. So it kind of all ties in, but this is an area where I would see two different pivots, dealing range to form here, pivot off the 12-hour demand into structure, new dealing range forms. That'll be at equilibrium into premium, and then I would expect the final push down. And then you could see where the 886 kind of lines up with the high volume node and the 3-day order block. So pretty much everything is pointing in this direction for a larger swing trade. We might not get there, right? Like there is no certainty with trading. It might just hold this demand zone here and then take off. But the point is to set alerts at those key areas of interest just in case you get that deeper discount buy, and then you can basically join the trade. Instead of buying the green candles up here and getting wrecked, you're going to be buying down here with smart money that also probably bought in that range. So that's your daily harmonic lining up with the daily idea. And then all I'm looking for here is setting an alert at the 12-hour demand and then one more at 3-day, and we should be good to go. The last thing in the range that I'm watching is because we've taken out these highs, this is a pretty heavy cluster of liquidity, and right above it there was another one right here and then one more here, but they left equal highs up here. But this high took out everything below this. So that was a pretty major or a serious amount of liquidity taken out. So I'm trying to see what the structure is locally, and this is what I came up with. Sorry, this one right here. This low took out these lows, so that was your original consolidation. Here's your first accumulation, second accumulation. Inside of it you have a raid and a shift, and then you purge all these highs above this last consolidation. So here you could see there was a shift. I was actually mapping this before it happened, but now it's happened. So now you have a shift, and this is your dealing range. So this will probably now be a little bit higher like this. And I would expect this to become a consolidative range where I'm looking for this specific pattern to play out. Some equal highs, equal lows, basically a consolidation range forms, and then a purge, and then drop into the final area of interest down here, the original consolidation. And again, this is why I like having a confluence of ideas between demand, volume, and wave structure, because if I now overlay the volume, your high volume node is going to sit inside of there. Your 3-day order block sits inside of there. And this is where your intraday sell program should complete, basically right here. So I'm anticipating something like this in the range. And then again, if you line up your harmonic, that would give you even more confluence for that zone. So this is how I'm kind of building the picture in the area. High time frame, Again, this is 4 hour, right? But high time frame, this is what I'm actually trying to trade. Because we rebalance more than half of the weekly, this is now my draw on the weekly. So if we go back into the daily time frame, this is the structure I'm trading. So above this high, you had a raid, consolidation, 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 purge, buy program activated, low risk buy, where they basically purge the internal range. And now I believe we're in a consolidation zone targeting up here somewhere. So we'll see where this goes. Ultimately, I think this is in a buy program. You're just waiting on the deeper discount entry. And then I'm going to be looking to go long somewhere in that range that we identified around $1. So like $1.05, $1.06 down to 98. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you got something out of it as well. Enjoy your day. Thanks.